When you look to the future and, once this project is complete, the idea that Guernsey has fibre will reputationally and internationally will really put it on the map.
Welcome to the Bailiwick Express podcast. My name is Aaron Carpenter. Each week we will shine a light on topics from across the Bailiwick. The format will change from week to week. We'll have debates, reviews, hot seat interviews and special guests. So stick with us as we tackle some of the most important issues we face in the Bailiwick. Shaw has this week announced £37.5 million plans to make Guernsey a digital leader through the creation of a fibre to the premises broadband network. It will directly reach every property in Guernsey with a faster and crucially more reliable connection than is available currently, and offers a possibility of 1 gigabit per second coverage. I sat down with Shaw Group CEO Alastair Beak to discuss the economic benefits, the short-term costs, the long-term vision, and what this means for 5G tech in Guernsey. So I'm joined today by Alastair Beak, who is the Shaw Group CEO, to talk about his company's exciting plans in partnership with the States to have full fibre coverage in Guernsey by 2026, subject to the States securing approval for the £12.5 million of public money that will be invested into the project. Alastair, this has been a long time in the making, I'm sure. How excited are you to be able to talk openly about these plans?
Yes, thank you for having me on today. It's a real pleasure actually to be talking about what we're planning to do, which is a very exciting and ambitious project to roll fibre out to 30,000 properties here in Guernsey and bring speeds of up to 50 times faster than our entry-level speeds today to everyone in the next 5 years. So, yeah, it's a huge project, and to be talking about it now finally is fantastic news to, break the good news to the community in that sense.
And the States committees who you've worked with will be going to the States to ask for $12.5 million towards this $37.5 million investment. Is that a vote of confidence in itself in the economic benefits that this will bring?
I think it is, and it's a very strategic investment that the States will be making with importantly with taxpayers' money, and it's a very important part of the package that we've announced, and obviously it's subject to the vote by the States Assembly, and we clearly hope it will go through. Because what that money will do is bring forward the investment in fibre and the rollout of fibre to everyone within the 5-year time frame. Without that money, Shaw would be rolling out fibre, but it would be to a much slower timetable, and the coverage would be much more limited than it will be. So it wouldn't be for everyone, and it certainly wouldn't be within a 5-year time frame. It would probably be more like a 10 to 15-year time frame without that intervention and that money. So it's very important. And what are the economic benefits to Guernsey? There's two types really. One is the broader economic benefit, and that comes about from having faster broadband with speeds of, as I said, that are 50 times immediately out of the box. We will be launching speeds that are 50 times faster than the entry level today. And why is that good? Well, it underpins everything that we're doing today in terms of our digital lifestyles. Working from home in particular is really critical to the economy these days. And that was amplified and exacerbated and brought on by the whole COVID revolution, if you like, as well. So the research shows that this type of faster broadband will bring a growth in GDP of between 0.3% and 1.1%. And that impact will last forever. So that's the first part of the impact. And then, of course, there's the direct investment locally as a result of the £37.5 million investment too. Of that, the vast majority of it, our estimations is around 80%, will go directly into local suppliers here. So we'll be creating in total around about 75 jobs directly, half of which will be through Shaw employees. So we'll increase by about 30 people as far as Shaw goes. And then the suppliers, again, we expect them to recruit an extra 45 roles into next year and lasting for the full 5 years of the rollout, as all those extra people are required to effectively build this brand new network.
And are there any sectors of the economy which perhaps have been hindered to some extent by the speed, the reliability of the current kind of copper cabling that can perhaps grow as a result of this investment?
I think that by and large, the answer to that is that the current network that we have, which remember is a combination of copper and fibre anyway, so we call it fibre to the curb. We've got roughly about 500 kilometres of fibre, and when you look at what happened during COVID, the vast majority of people were able to operate normally in the way that they could work from home, learn from home. But and we saw a 50% increase in traffic over that time, a massive, massive increase, and the network could cope with that we have today. But it's not perfect in terms of, if you live a long way from the exchange, the technology today does degrade. So you will get a slower speed if you're the last home in the line, if you like. And so we can't guarantee those faster speeds to every property, whether that's a business or whether that's a home. And that's where this technology comes in. So yes, there will be some people that have been hindered. Is it a particular segment of the community? No. Is it a particular type of business that's been maybe hindered? No. And in fact, for most businesses, you can get fibre today in St. Peter Port and all the main business districts of the island, in fact. So I think, though, when you look to the future and, once this project is complete, the idea that Guernsey has fibre will reputationally and internationally will really put it on the map in terms of, people today when they're looking to move somewhere, in terms of the home, they're looking at, it always used to be location, location, location. Now it's going to be, or it already is now, location and broadband speed, is right up there. So, and when you think about the whole working from home revolution, people were now, rather than just saying, I don't necessarily need to be anchored to an office in London and commute into London and think about where I live in relation to that, people are now starting to think maybe I can live in Guernsey rather than live in London because I don't need to be anchored to that office anymore. In that sense, I think fibre is a real sort of longer term boost to the economy, a real longer term boost to different businesses, because more and more people may choose to live and work here because of fibre being that underpinning technology that's important to and facilitate working from home.
Do you consider that is a limitation currently?
As I said, I yes, to an extent, yes, there is some limitation in, depending on where you live, how far you are away from the exchange will depend how high a quality service we can provide. I mean, we provide today, said for all businesses, vast majority of them can get fibre. For people living at home, they can get between speeds of roughly 16, 17 megs up to 100 megs. And that's more a factor of where you live. Fibre, yes, will mean that everyone can get speeds of, initially of up to 1 gigabit per second, which is 50 times faster than that entry level average speed that we have today. So yes, it's a real step up and a notch above obviously above what we have today.
And for people who are kind of uninitiated, who don't really understand this subject, what is it about the fibre technology that is such an enhancement compared to copper cabling?
Yeah, it's basically that guaranteed quality of service. So there's no degradation of the service as it travels along the cable. Yeah. It's light that is transmitted over a fibre cable. Fibre is basically a glass-lined cable. So the light can't escape. So there's no over the distance, whether that's all the way around the world or down the road, that light can't escape. And so it doesn't degrade the signal at all. And therefore the broadband quality of service you get is irrespective of your location. And it's simply the speeds you want to have. So, and in fact, there is fibre. The basis of the fibre technology itself is there is effectively no limit to the speed that fibre can carry. It is simply the equipment that sits either end of that fibre cable that dictates the speeds.
And so you're future-proofing with this investment? So this technology could also carry even faster speeds potentially in the future.
Yeah, so the technology we're buying, and this is, this is why the timing is good actually, that the technology we're buying now is another leap ahead of where it would have been even a few years ago. So the technology that we're buying is capable of 10 gigabit speeds. Initially that's not going to be available, but the core technology that we have available is going to provide services in the future that are 500 times faster than what we have today. And that's not going to need us to do this whole investment again. No. That will be a small upgrade to people's services in the future when and if that kind of demand is required.
Yeah, because there will be some disruption short term during the digging up and the laying of this cable.
Yeah, I mean, but yes, the inevitably a project of this size, when you're going to fit a physical cable, a new physical cable to every single property in Guernsey, is going to be disruptive by its nature. However, it's not right to assume that every single road is going to need to be dug up. We have, as I said, we already have 500 kilometres of fibre in the ground. We also have a lot of cabling in the ground today, and ducting and infrastructure, which can all be used to roll out this fibre infrastructure for us. So yes, there's going to be some road closures as we do. Inevitably, we will have to dig up some elements of the road, but we're not going to be putting trenches along every single road in Guernsey.
And importantly, you won't have to do so again in 10 years' time.
Exactly. And yes, the technology, I hope, will last at least as long as the copper wires have lasted, which is 125 years. So, it really is an investment in the very, very long term. This is infrastructure that will power the Guernsey economy for many, many decades.
And under your plan, when will it start next year? And what will decide which properties are connected first and which later on in that 5-year process?
Yeah, so we've announced that the project formally will, the program formally will start at the beginning of 2022. Actually, we're going to be starting a pilot phase in about a month's time, and we'll be announcing that in due course. And then that pilot phase will run for about 6 months, and then what we will be doing, and that will be on a basis of customers who are within coverage of fibre will be invited to basically join that pilot. And then after that, what we'll be doing is announcing parcels and pockets of homes and properties as we've passed them. We will employ 2 new community liaison officers who will be going out and talking to those areas, to those homes, to those people about our plans, what to expect, when to expect it, and all that kind of stuff, as well as all that information being available on our websites as well. I have to also add that it's a wholesale network we're building, so we have to provide that network to retail providers, which includes Shaw, which is confusing because we're both a wholesale and a retail provider, but it also includes the likes of JT, and we have to provide the network on a fair, reasonable and non-discriminatory basis as well. And that means that as a customer, you will be dealing with your retail provider for this, and they will be the ones who are announcing the pricing, and the retail provider will be reaching out to customers and offering fibre services in due course.
So you'll have competition within the same network rather than duplication of...
Absolutely, yes. So today we have a similar arrangement and framework, basically, where Shaw and JT operate today to offer broadband services at the retail level to customers, and that is on that basis that this fibre network will be rolled out, and of course it will be available to others. And Airtel actually announced that they would like to be part of this too, and that they'll become a retail operator and offer broadband using our network as well.
And so as a company and as an island, why are you excited about this, and why should the community be?
Yeah, very good question. So we're excited about it, and I think the reasons that the community should be excited about it is because it's a huge move for the island to bring that confidence to our digital lives. Today we're so reliant on this technology, and that reliance is going to go up and up and up in the future. There are so many things that we don't know are going to happen, but what we do know is that in terms of the technology that everyone's using, whether that's streaming, whether that's working from home and making Teams calls over video, none of us know yet how that technology is going to evolve. But what everyone's convinced of is that technology is going to become more and more a bigger part of our lives, and it's going to become more and more digital, and therefore having a fibre network will mean it's all going to be possible. Whereas without that fibre network, it doesn't bring that kind of confidence, and that's what we're doing here, is bringing confidence to the community that we have the technology in place to allow communities to connect and have a better future as well.
And finally, Alastair, what does this mean for 5G technology in Guernsey?
5G, originally we looked at 5G back in 2019, actually, encouraged by the government, by the GCRA as well, or what was CICRA at the time, to look at 5G as a potential, effectively a potential replacement for the fixed broadband network today, and in effect a replacement for fibre too. We took that and we rolled out really the only proper customer trial here in Guernsey, and actually we did the same thing in Jersey too. And what we saw when we did that customer trial of 5G was that the service isn't mature enough yet. The technology's not there yet to offer a replacement service or replacement technology to fibre, or indeed actually the existing fixed broadband network. It's very, very sensitive as a service today. So you have your 5G router by the window in the line of sight of the mobile mast, and you can get speeds of 200, 300 megs. You literally move it 1 or 2 meters away from that position, and you're down below the speeds that you can get today over the fixed broadband network. So we don't think that 5G is yet a fully robust service that would be future-proofed as well. So 5G will be definitely a complementary service to fibre in the future. And in the States policy paper, it talks about running a process now for 5G next year with a view to 5G potentially being rolled out in 2023. So that's and 5G will then it will sit like 4G does today. So it's for when you're on your phone, when you're out and about, and again those kind of services that we don't know are coming. More immersive gaming, for example, is just one type of use case you can see with 5G being used on the move, and there will be a lot of gamers that will get excited about that. So yeah, it will be a complementary technology to fibre, and it will come later now than had been envisaged.
Thank you for listening to the Bailiwick Express podcast. The title track was Shift My Weight by Luna. If you enjoyed it, please like and share. You can find us online, on social, on email and internet radio. There'll be more from me, Aaron Carpenter, and the rest of the Bailiwick Express news team next week.